What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Okamiden. I'm What the Fnu, and this Let's Play will self-destruct in 3 seconds. So, in this episode, we can save a nice ice cave that we can have at a rave. Well, at least I finished the joke. That's more than I would have been able to pull at the beginning of this project. I really have come a little ways as a commentator. So, let's take stock here. We've got a guy who can generate fire, and we're now in an ice cave. Guess what we're going to be doing a lot of? Oh, hey, birdies. Be free! Fly away! Or just kind of hop on the ground, despite the fact that you might freeze again while you're in here. Raising up our gratitude meters still. Really? Can that thing fill up again? Can I get more than 10 bars of life and 10 ink pots? That'd be kind of interesting. What if this game has a New Game Plus feature where you unlock, what am I trying to say? Where you start again with all the life you have and all the ink you had at the end of your last run, and you just build on that all over again. And, oh-ho! We've got an ice one this time? Oh, no. Not again, pal. I've got your number. Urgh, eat it! I love the Inferno skill. It's the best thing they added to these games. Anyways, yeah, you got to start over and completely build from there. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could just fill up the entire bottom screen with life units and ink pots? I guess that's what that's for. I guess that's what that's all about. That's what it's all about. I want a poster of that. Do you remember that magic card, the Knight of the Hokey Pokey? Was that Unglued or Unhinged that was from? I love that. I love how they had enough of a sense of humor to go back in their own series and create all of these cards that were just for fun. Half of those just probably aren't even tournament legal. They're so goddamn broken. But that's what makes them awesome. I'm not really big on the Magic tournament scene. I'd love to have somebody tell me what that's all about if I have anybody who's Magic savvy out there. But, yeah, believe it or not, Team Pizza actually came up with a card game once. And it was, I'm not going to lie, it was a little inspired by that. It was a game called Cardboard Kings. What it was about is basically, it's a very simple game. I mean, there is a little complexity if you decide to build a competitive deck. There are a lot of strategies you can employ, but it's a very easy game to learn, a very easy game to play. But the thing is, what made it fun was all of the strange cards that we came up with, all of the funny effects that they had. Like, we had this one card called Angry Flock of Birds, where anytime during your turn or your opponent's, you could throw this card out of your hand at them, and if they didn't try to visibly block it before it hit them and after it left your hand, then you gain a point. Points being how you win this game. You need a certain number of them in order to complete the duel, or win the duel, I'm sorry. Or my personal favorite was a card called It Came Out of Nowhere, which allowed you to destroy target equipment card in any game you can see. It's the ultimate troll card. You just use it and you're like, hey, buddy, lose the job hat. And they're like, oh, man. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm supposed to get this guy in the cannon here, Monpuku. Oh, I see. I don't do it manually. It's another little cutscene thing that I have to activate. A little scripted event that I have to talk to somebody and get a weird camera angle for. Of course. Of course. Of course. Because anything more complex than just dragging myself across a pit with a vine like this requires something like that. Seriously. What is it in the code that makes it so things have to be that complicated? That I can't just solve puzzles on the fly like I do in a more complex platformer? Was it just too complicated to be able to pull off? Well, I'm not Capcom, so I couldn't tell you. I don't have an editor for this ROM, not DS ROMs anyway. I have torn apart SNES ROMs before. I've actually done that for Final Fantasy III, so I can actually confirm the rumor of the Zardraken. And that's really cool. The sprite is actually there, along with the line of dialogue. And you... Oh, what? Oh no! Capcom, you didn't! No! Why? Why would you do this in a 3D platforming game? Look, I'm not even touching the controller right now, or the arrow keys in this case. Oh, why? Please don't tell me there's more of this. Please. Ugh. You know, speaking of magic, there's a point I want to bring up, and it's about a more famous video game series. Isn't it kind of interesting how Pokemon has become less of an RPG and more of a TCG? Think about it. The most common argument I get from people who say that Pokemon can't change its formula. It's not that it doesn't need to change its formula, it's that it can't change its formula because of the multiplayer element. Because if you change the battle system, people from previous generations won't be able to trade with you, or battle with you, or interact with you, or whatever. It destroys the competitive scene. So? Fuck the previous games. I'd rather have every generation be standalone and good, rather than have all of them be mediocre on the off chance I decide to become a professional player. Well, I had a feeling that wasn't going to work. Let's clip through the iceberg, why don't you? I hate this elitist mentality that players and, unfortunately, the developers seem to have about Pokemon. That it's some kind of perfect formula, that it doesn't need to change, that it doesn't have to change, that it doesn't have to innovate or bring anything new to the table. Bullshit! Okay, maybe back in the days of the Game Boy, this was as good as an RPG could get, but by today's standards, when we've got games like Borderlands and The Witcher and Deus Ex, Pokemon is a terrible RPG, mediocre at best, and I'll explain my reasons for saying that right now. Consider all the modern conveniences we have, like being able to see enemies on the field beforehand. It doesn't waste your time. You don't want to fight, you just keep on walking. But if you want to fight, you can walk up and fight them. It's that simple. But Pokemon doesn't do that. We've still got random freaking encounters in this series. Look, I understand where the random encounters trope came from. Back in the day, there just wasn't enough. The original Mega Man was 1 megabit big, okay? There just wasn't enough memory for a game like, say, Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy to have all those sprites running around on the screen at once. There wasn't a game that could take these things on the field, put them around, just walking around, and then have you run into one if you wanted to engage them. Oh, wait, yes there is. It's called Zelda 2. They did exactly that, and it was awesome. And now, we've got systems... We've got a system that could render this. That could create an adventure game this complex that you're looking at right now. There's no excuse. Especially for a game that still uses 2D graphics, for the most part. For the characters, for the people, for the Pokemon and the battles. Or, here's another thing. Progressive difficulty. How do you beat any opponent in Pokemon? There's no boss that has, like, these shields that you have to deplete, or, I had a feeling that wasn't going to work. In the drink with you, lad. Walk the plank. The ice plank. Anyways, there's no enemy in all of the Pokemon games that will require more strategy than just power leveling and hitting them with your strongest attack. We've all been there. This strategy of just, hey, you put him down. Let go of him, you little bastard. I see, that's how you kill these things. He's not dead? There's not a single Pokemon in the entire series that doesn't require... We've all been to this point, okay? We've all been in that position where, as kids, we would just power level our starter, and we got through the entire game like that. We could just kill every single Pokemon by spamming the strongest attack you had over and over again. And you were so over-leveled at that point, it didn't even matter if it was super effective or not. Because you were just dealing so much damage, you could one-hit and two-hit everything. And the retaliation from the two hits didn't matter because you had so much health to go around and so many healing items that it just didn't affect anything. What about games like Hello? What? Oh, I get it. Ah. God. How was I supposed to know I could melt that, though? It looks like there's so much ice in this cavern. How am I supposed to know which of it I can and cannot melt? Conveyance. Okay, I hate to talk about Egoraptor again because I brought this up because I just talked about him in a couple videos ago, maybe 2. But this is something I agree with him with. He once said that as an animator, you become trained to make everything instantly recognizable. The fact that that ice looked like it was just part of the background, but I still needed to melt it in order to progress. Am I supposed to jump up? Oh, no, wait, I see it. Yeah, I just saw it. There's that other block of ice back there. That's bad conveyance. You just wander around going, what do I do? What do I do? Anyways. Pokemon. What about games like Morrowind, where enemies get stronger as you get stronger? The challenge stays consistent. There's always something that's capable of killing you. Just around the corner. The strategy of advanced leveling, of getting up to that point, how you beat these enemies is by using the advanced skills that you get from leveling up in clever ways and intuitive ways, skillfully, hence their name, in order to defeat whatever's in front of you. See, that's what Pokemon is lacking. You get these skills, but all you need is that one powerful ability and you could just plow through everything. These are inarguably advancements in the RPG genre, and yet Pokemon adamantly refuses, stubbornly turns up its nose, and consistently feels from generation to generation like it was designed in a freaking box. If it ain't broke, don't fix it does not apply when fans have already paid over $200 for what are essentially add-on packs for the same damn game. I've made a promise to myself, and I will share this with you guys right now. I have not bought a single Pokemon game new since Diamond and Pearl, because I refuse to reward the developers for this half-assed nonsense. But there's a flip side to this. If I ever find out that Game Freak has chosen to do the correct thing and make a game with unique ideas, innovative concepts, and a fresh take on the old formula, I will not only buy the game day one, I'll pre-order it. Both versions. And I will never sell them back to a used game store just so there are 2 less opportunities for people to buy it to avoid buying it new. Because innovation drives this fucking industry. Nobody should get away with what Pokemon is doing. Call of Duty does the same goddamn thing. You guys hate it so much. That's my 2 cents on that. Monpuku, are you hungry again? I don't have any more beef, so you're just gonna have to deal, dude. Oh, great. Am I gonna have to go hunt for food for him again? Nope, he's getting up. Looks fine. Suck it in, pal. Suck it in. Huh. Oh, that's awfully responsible of you. Huh. See why I like this character? I like him more than Kuro, simply because of that element of personal responsibility he has. He feels, even though it is a tad overblown, It's one of those old tropes, but he feels responsible for his flaws, and he wants to improve himself and improve his life and make up for his mistakes by doing that. That's respectable. I can definitely get behind that. Monpuku's kind of a cool character in that sense. And we free a piggy this time. Haha! No pork chops for you, Orochi. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there might be a platform back in the other room that had something on it that I missed. Or either that or I looked by it so quickly that it looked like a platform. I kind of want to go back for it, but... Okay, push it or cut it, Monpuku. You need to be a little more specific. Also, I think that's the cleanest line I've ever done in this game. I kind of want to go back for that thing, but at the same time, I really don't want to waste any time on camera. Okay, tell you what, guys. I'm going to flip a coin about this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to flip the bird. Yeah. And if it comes up fingerprint, that's fuck this game, and I just move on and go do something else. But if it comes up fingernail, that's fuck me, and I've got to go see what it was. Okay, here we go. Fuck me. And it wasn't actually a platform at all. Go figure. Well, that was a complete and total waste of my time, but I think I'm going to cut things off right here, ladies and gentlemen. Not sure how long this episode is going to be, and sorry if it ends up being a bit short. And I didn't mean to spend a whole episode ragging on a fan-favorite series, but hey, if you have a different opinion, go ahead and feel free to debate me about it. I'd love to hear your side of the story. So, even though I happen to have heard a lot of sides of the other side of this debate already, but in any case, that's it for this episode, everybody. So, in the next episode, we will see what the rest of the ice cave has to offer us. See you then. Later, everybody.